that the mainstream media has given the public when it comes to it. You have to fight against that first. A
Yeah.
lot of things will change for
Yeah.
bodybuilding once that happens. But until it happens, they're stuck in
Yeah.
more ways than one.
Unfortunately, and that's true, and people don't think about, you got baseball players that are taking PEDs, soccer players, any sport pretty much, but they look, all they see is the physical of the bodybuilders. Oh, they got all these muscle, they got all of this. But then you got other sports that they do that, but they'll cover them. It, like you said, it's a stereotypes and lack of knowledge. And also, you got movie stars, they do things to get ready for roles. They don't pack on that type of muscle in 6 months to a year. So
Right.
I mean, but it's lack of knowledge, people, and it's sad. And that's why I tell a lot of people when they ask me and my husband, I tell them, hey, I'm not a pro, but I have been in the industry for a while. And I know a lot of people in the industry. And I will tell you this, make sure that you financially are set up for whatever, an emergency fund. Don't just jump into it and you barely paying your bills, because your bills
Right.
get paid. You got to have a place to stay. Your lights got to be on. Don't don't just omit that because you think you're going to be turned pro in 6 months to a year. Because a lot of these younger people, they get into it. Oh, I'm going to be pro next year. Hey, you're going against people who've been in the industry maybe 10 or 20 years, and they're trying to get their pro card too, and they're going to have
Right.
more muscle maturity. They're going to know the game. They're going to know what to do, and you're not going to have a clue depending on who your trainer is. They may not, school you on all of that. So, and that's the thing with the younger people. When they ask me and my husband, I'm just flat out honest with them and say, hey, get you a job, put your money back. If that's what you want to do, you know, just like you shop for a car, interview trainers. Just don't jump on the first person that says, oh, I want to train you to get your pro card, because hey, you got to know if you're willing to do whatever they're going to ask you to do. So it's a lot to it. And these younger people, I just, you really try to tell them, or guide them in the best thing. You don't discourage them, but you also try to be realistic with them.
Yeah, that's the thing is, it's so easy to pick on bodybuilding because, again, it was steroids issues. But as you mentioned, Bev, many other sports use steroids, but because it's so mainstream, there's so much money involved in it. Many of them don't need to get you know the stuff they need. They just say, "Hey, I'm healthy," but you never know what's going to happen. You remember when Lynn Baez died in the middle of a game. There's been baseball players that fell out, playing baseball or working out. You know, those people don't think that they can die, but you got to think about it. We were taking, especially performance enhancers or any kind of chemical thing, it will affect you in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if anybody didn't follow, if just saw this afternoon, Michaela Acock. If you have seen it, it is kind of sad news for her because she just posted that she's dealing with some kind of injury. Don't know the details of it yet, but from what she's going through, it's something with her knees, and that's the thing with Hella, her knees. As Hella, and what, Michaela's really short, and
Yes.
she puts on a lot of muscle, crazy condition, and she's not even. I think she's just not even 40 yet. She got to be around about 33, 34. She's still a young woman,
Mm-hmm.
but she posted this afternoon, and I'm going to share it with y'all, and I'm going to read a bit of it. It's a lot to it, so I'm going to read some of it here. He says. Within the first week of 2025, my goals for the year quickly took a turn. I set into this year with all intentions and signs of being my best physique in every I've every put on stage, ever put on stage. Okay, yeah. I had my sight set on a specific shows and bucket list goals leading into what might been as a surprise to you all. But myself and those closest to me have known I had in my mind in this uh, needing to be on my final year as a competitive bodybuilder. So she's planning on retiring, I think, after this year. I've wrestled with this for a while. I'm addicted to the work. And after all, I have spent my entire 20s pursuing it. And truly, I am just now hitting my stride and defying my shortcut, short genetics odds with many more years to continue improving, but rather it's just a life decision that seems best long term. Specific reasons I'm expand at a later time. Within the first week of this year, I had a freak scenario happen, and with one of my knees. Prior to this, training had been going perfectly, no aches, tweaks, twings, or any sign of alignments. Uh, One day I had therapy work done, and immediately following had an odd, constant ache in my knee. Within 2 days, I was unable to bend or utilize my leg at all, since I had several scans and doctors. Let me see, he's gonna, and yeah, she's at a doctor's office. Being I used to since I said right, and I had several scans and doctors um, to look at it, the situation, the answers, the problem, let alone a situation for it. Words like tumor, bone marrow, uh, abdominally, heterotopic, uh, tears, tendonitis, arthritis, etc., have been used. During all this time, I have been unable to train at all, and now gaining on 3 months after the onset of injury, I'm just now able to function with normal walking and daily activities. This still this is still an ongoing process with more scans, appointments, and potential surgeries to be had. If you know me at all, you know I am no stranger to major hurdles and challenges to overcome throughout my time in bodybuilding, and it is just a matter of working harder and longer. I'm the woman for the job full of can do power. However, this time is different. Whether final days of chapters in your life are by choice or by force, neither are an easy on easy. Okay, okay. No matter what my future looks like, it seems of the stage, terms of the stage, I will be the same Michaela, walking resistantly hard, passionately towards every pursuit of my life. Here we go, and there she is. All right, the stage will be okay, and if I compete, if I'm if competing on stage is done for me, the only thing that will change in my pursuit towards the stage itself, and all 100% dialed in, never miss a beat, detail for better or worse, that requires me to be the best physique I can be. I'm still here to take part in the industry and do my part to give back and utilize the experiences I have gained over years to now help others. However, they want me to, from coaching, training others, and advice, all the way to sweeping backstage at a show. LOL. All along with gaining the time and resources of life to put back into myself now towards the passions and work I wanted to pursue outside of the fitness industry. And Michaela Hart. And that's some sad news. Michaela Edcock, I follow on social media. She's at orthopedic centers here. The older I get, the more I realize there aren't really an easy path. You either face difficult decisions now and recap to be a fix later, or to delay the decisions and face the consequences. Yeah, and that's tough for Michaela. She's been in the game for a long time. She's been a multiple time pro in both women's body and women's physique. She's been multiple time Olympic competitor, rising Phoenix competitor, top five, top 10 competitor at these shows. I mean, and it's tough, especially being so young, and to realize that now you might have to go another direction in your career.
Yeah, that's really sad. I haven't seen that, but that's sad. But at the end of the day, I would rather see her healthy And I think she's an asset in the community, and she may have to do something else. I know people, they enjoy being on the stage, but I think at her level, she'd be an asset as a oh, my brain is like out there, someone that you can go talk to and get advice from. So I wish her all the best. I hope everything does work out in her favor where she can do what she wants to do. I think she has a great physique. She really does. But I'm like, I tell my husband, and we tell each other, if it gets to a point where we don't do it anymore, you know what? It's better you be healthy in the long run and enjoy life, because at the end of the day, we're not getting paid for this. We're spending our money. It's a hobby. It is. We enjoy it, but your body and your mind and your spirit is more important for that to be healthy.
Yeah, because you know what, like I said, it's if you want to take time and go in and do something in another direction, one thing she could do is like Wings of Strength has already promoted bodybuilding. She'd be a great executive over there. Work with
Oh
this,
yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
work with Jake Wood. I mean, I gotta do it. Try to say his name. Yo Jake. I want that money. I want that gun. But if for us fans who love y'all ladies on the stage, it's kind of like a bittersweet to see y'all walk away from it. Like this,
Mhm.
like a couple weeks ago, we talked about how there's some ladies who would love to see come back compete. Like people like Iris Kyle, Lena Popa, a couple of ladies. But understand that you gotta live your life, and it's important for your longevity. Like I said, I think she has a boyfriend. They've been together for a while, and like I said, she's still young. Maybe she wants to take the time off and enjoy the life as maybe a wife or maybe a mother.
Oh, that's important too, because you would not believe the women I have met that have told me they regret not having kids and getting married. They got so caught up into this until time just passed them. And they were like, I've had one, and she was a pro. She said, I admire the fact that you got married and you did what you had to do and you took time out, because she said, I was so caught up. I wanted kids. She said, I was so caught up in the industry until time just got away from me and I couldn't do what I wanted to do. So that's where that balance comes in too. You have to, you can have trainers and everybody around you rushing you. Oh, you got to do this show. You got to do that show. But at the end of the day, you have to sit and look in the mirror and go, okay, but when this is all over, where am I going to be? Who's going to be there? What am I going to have?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Jeremy.
Right. I mean, no. I mean, as a fan of this, I mean, I like it. I mean, I like especially women's bodybuilding and on down. But at the same time, it's like I hear of stories like this. So I hear about people getting injured. I hear about how PEDs have, in fact, ruined some women's lives, and because they did it wrong, or they took the wrong stuff, they took the wrong amount, what have you. But and it's like I look at this, it's like yeah, it's neat with the competitions and all, but it's not worth your life.
Mm-mm.
It's simply not. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I mean, what are you in fact getting at the end of the day? Let's say that you win the thing. Let's say you win the Miss Olympia. Okay. I mean, maybe you're going to get a supplement contract. Maybe you're going to get involved with some things like that. But I mean, is all of that worth seriously screwing up your body to the point where you seriously screw yourself up? It's like I'm trying to remember the name of the girl. She's only like 30 years old. Her coach had her on such an absolutely ridiculous PED protocol that she screwed her body up to the point where she had to have open heart surgery at 30. So it's like,
So that goes back to,
yeah,
you gotta do your homework on
right.
training. If the trainers are coming to you with stuff and you gotta question it, something in the back of your head is saying this isn't right, then you need to follow your gut. Yeah, you might be looking at somebody that, oh, they look great on stage or they got their pro card in 6 months to a year. But at the same time, everybody's body's different. Genetically, people are different. If you are not comfortable with that, you need to let them know I'm not comfortable with that. But some people, they want that instant gratification so quickly, they don't understand the long-term effects of that. How it messes you up. And so, like I said, I talked to a lady. She told me, you know what? I never got married, never had kids. One day I stopped competing. I looked in the mirror and said, I have nothing. This is it. I'm done competing. I've done everything. So you have to be balanced with it. That's why I think it's so important to have people that you can talk to in the industry so they can kind of keep you balanced and go, hey, you might need to take 6 months off. You might need to take a year off. Get yourself together. You may not need to do a show this season. Do a show next season. There's always going to be shows. That's what I was told by my trainer. There's always going to be shows. Your family is more important. Your health is more important. So don't sidestep that for something that you'll never maybe get your pro card, or you maybe never get a supplemental contract. Keep that in mind. Even though I love the sport and enjoy it, you still have to be balanced.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah, we have a comment here from a man, balls deep. He's coming through, always supporting. He says, "What up and salute? Thank you, brother." He also says, he says, "Smash the like button. I appreciate that." His other moniker, Chicago in here. All right, and his other one, Schmo Gang, 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 gang. So yeah, because it's important to, like, I know some ladies who walked away from sport. Like one lady happened out here before, Melanie Horton. Melanie competed in a good part of the '90s. Went to her first Miss Olympia back in '99, and after that, she stepped away from it. She has two kids, both of them now in college, and she's almost 60, and she came back. Was it about, I think, 4 or 5 years ago? She competed at the Auto Classic. This show was here. She mass competed at the. She did both the Vancouver Island show and did uh the Toronto Pro. She's from Canada, and she for a while I didn't hear much from her, but she was in the hospital because she had got some very bad abdominal pain, and she was there for about a week or two, and she recovered nicely. I mean, especially for a woman her age. So, like, think about it, when you were younger, you get hurt, hey, you bounce back the next day, you be all right. But now you get to this point where I'm 50, I got two bad knees like Stone Cold Steve Austin. I got pacemaker in my chest, and there's days where I don't move like I used to, especially I got a lot of
Mhm.
weight. But I think anybody who gets into sport should always consider what are they going to sacrifice for, especially for a woman. Like,
Yes.
yeah, think about it. Yeah, if you take, especially if you're heavy on PEDs and say I want to have babies, then everything, your whole chemical balance is off. You don't have, um, you know, um, periods anymore, and then you're just your DNA. Some say because of the use of heavy use of it is almost male, and
Yeah, that's another thing. You may not have the money to fix certain things that happen to your face. You have to factor all that in, and then when you stop competing, you decide, oh, I want to meet a husband. Well, okay, unless you meet somebody in the industry, somebody average Joe is gonna be like, So you have to sit down and go, you have to count the cost. What am I willing to sacrifice? Am I willing to sacrifice? If I want to get married, do I want to sacrifice getting married? If I want to have kids, do I want to sacrifice having kids? My family time, missing holidays, things like that. You have to take all that into consideration. Your health, you have to take all of that into consideration. Train smart. So that's why, like I said before, I try to, when people mention, I don't discourage them. I say, oh, that's a great goal to have. But I want you to really think about know your why. And that was what I was told when I got into it. My trainer said, hey, know your why. Why are you wanting to do this? Why do you want to become a bodybuilder? And also, don't jump into it thinking you're going to just be a pro in 6 months, 2 years. Yeah, some people do that, but you got to factor in where are those people now? Those people that you knew that did it in 6 months to a year, they had to take time off for certain reasons. So you have to really factor that in. You have to know what you're doing. Like I said, you have to really almost interview your coaches and see what they're all about. Are they just going to push you a bunch of drugs, or they're going to get your training, your meals down, and your workouts down? Because a lot of it is your food. You have to eat smart. Some people can go eat pizzas all day. I can't do it. My husband's a carb person. He can eat carbs all day and still be lean. I eat carbs. I'm gonna gain 20 pounds in a week. So you have to factor genetics, all of that in. So, I love the sport I do. I love bodybuilding, but I know one day I won't be doing it. And that's what you have to tell people. You're not gonna do this forever. You're not. There's always going to be somebody new and younger coming up. Just look at the history of bodybuilding. Look at the history. Ronnie Coleman was king, 8-time Olympian. He's still out there and he's still doing his thing, but he's no longer competing. So you have to show them those examples. You won't be on stage all the time. You have to figure out what you want to do. He was one of the few that got all the supplements and all the contracts. Everybody's not going to get that. So you got to be smart about what you're doing.
Yeah, a good example is Flex Wheeler. He was dealing with some medical issue. He lost the leg.
Yes.
One lady who I was in contact with Melissa Coates, and she already had issues, and then she lost a leg, and she later on she passed away. Some say because there's an issue, whatever medical issue was affecting her, that might have been attributed to it. You can't always say steroids. Maybe just some people just have issues that are genetic.
These things pop up. Yeah, they have health issues that pop up, and just different things. And then I know my first coach that I was with, he was back in the 80s and 90s. He told me back then a lot of people, sometimes not everybody, they did recreational drugs. So it's just not PEDs. Some people are on recreational drugs, which we know those are cocaine, meth, and all of that. And people blame the PEDs, but it's not that. It's that other stuff. So, he said people had heart attacks. It wasn't that. It was the cocaine that did it, so you just have to be smart about it. You have to know when to draw the line and say, no, I'm not doing that. I'll train harder and longer than the next person if that's what it takes. But you have to make up your mind. But, some of these younger people, they're so influenced by what they see. And I tell them all the time, do your background knowledge. Make sure you're talking to people that's been in the game for a while. Know the good, the bad, and the ugly about it.
Yeah. I remember this comedian made a joke one time. What do you get when you cross LSD with birth control?
What?
A trip without the kids.
Oh. Oh my God.
That was crazy. That's funny. Here we got a comment from my man. I think it's to you, Bev. He says, why she want to be a female bodybuilder?
Why do I want to be one? You know what? To be honest with you, I've always wanted to be a bodybuilder, even when I was in high school. I just, money and life took me in a different direction. But then when I got to the point where I could financially do it, I didn't want to. I could have done it, in my early 20s, but I didn't have the money then. I was trying to work and pay bills and, be able to pay a department note and all of that. But when I got to the point where I could financially hire a trainer, a good trainer, get my food in, get the gym membership, do the workouts. That's when I said, okay, now I'm at a point where I can do it. Because I wanted to do it for years. I just didn't have the funds to do it. And I didn't want to do it halfway. I didn't want to, I can go to the gym and try to do it on my own, because you have to be kind of guided into it. People have to look at you and say, this needs to be worked on, that needs to be worked on. But yeah, I've always wanted to do it. Ever since I was in high school, I remember looking at, magazines and seeing all the women that were like, back then. And I was like, oh my God, I want to do that. But, I knew back then financially I couldn't do it. So I waited until I could do it.
Yeah. Here we got a guest. He's the reason for this. My man, Big Keith Williams. My dear brother Lucy.
Hey Keith, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
How are you feeling?
I'm good, man. It's first day back at the gym. Felt pretty good. So
good.
10 toes down, 6 feet up. Still grinding.
Yeah.
It's cold. It's cold in these parts of the world right now. Shit.
Yeah.
Oh, it's cold here too.
Yeah.
Trust me. Yeah.
We're supposed to get like 11 to 15 inches of snow tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
I just posted. I was just did a thing this afternoon where I talked about this lady I follow. Her name is Tracy Jones. They had a big bad flood in Kentucky.
Oh no!
She mentioned that. Yeah, it's gonna be nasty around about that time. It's funny thing about that is I know y'all get too political, but a certain dumbass is at the Daytona 500 instead of being in his office trying to take care of the American people. But welcome. But yeah, brother. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the sad thing about that is that it's her whole town.
Yeah,
it's her entire town, not just her, but it's so many people. And I wrote her, I was like, Oh my God, I'm so sorry that this happened to you, and just please be careful and take care of you and yours.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, she showed pictures. It's like the whole town is underwater.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
The whole town is underwater.
And I
That's
think it's
so
So
easy.
because Kentucky's not that far from the Mississippi, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So I figured probably that every year when the Mississippi runs over, especially
I
there's a lot
love
of
that you have a
waves.
female on the show.
Yeah,
Excellent.
we
yes,
got to our female. I'm usually tired with y'all hard legs all the time, so we got to say we got a woman. So we got
That's
everyone,
awesome.
woman.
Yeah, I may be on here another 5 or 10 minutes because I gotta go get my back worked on. I'm trying
Oh yeah,
I feel your pain.
yeah, I got
yeah.
one of my friends. She's actually a massage therapist, so she's gonna go in and elbow me real good because I'm got this kink going on. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's one thing I think is important, especially when you're athletes, because you do need those things like massages, because the muscles and also detail the joints. I mean, I like I said, I was studying massage therapy when I was a few years ago. I wish I finished it, but my car broke down on me. But that's important. Like with you, Keith, you had surgery. Explain your surgery and what was going on.
Well, I had a back ablation, so I had my L4, L5 back fusion about a year and a half ago, and my SI joints has been bothering me, so they went in and did some injections, and those probably lasted me about good 6 or 8 weeks. But then the pain started coming back again, so he said the only thing we could do with the back ablation is that they burn the nerve so that you don't feel that anymore. And because it's not around tissue, it'll last me probably about a year or two. But when I was telling somebody, I said, thank God I have good insurance because when I was signing the paperwork before I went in on Monday, that was an $8,000 procedure for
Oh my
45 minutes.
god.
Yeah, so and I paid $84. I think that was out of my out of pocket expense, but thank God for the NFLPA, for good insurance. But
Yeah.
then I had a UI flexion injections in my knees on Thursday. After that, and so what it is they do these injections in your knees, and it kind of fills them up with this kind of gel so that you lose some of the discomfort in your knees. They're better than the other
Get a
injections that
scope,
they put in you. Huh?
get a scope, because I know I had those injections before. They put it in
Yeah.
my
So
yeah.
these UI injections are the flex injections are better than getting the cortisol injections because those things last shorter period of time. But again, when I looked at when you're signing the papers and you're filling all this stuff, you're like, well, I wonder how much this stuff costs. Each injection, and I had one Thursday, I have one this Thursday, are $1,400 a piece.
Oh my god.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
they're
I mean,
expensive.
so yeah,
Yeah, I remember when the last time my doctor used to give it to me in his office, and then one time give me a prescription. I can only
yeah,
get one vial, and I'm on Medicaid, and that one vial cost me about $80 because it's
yeah,
simply enough to. I said I couldn't get it all of, so I just got the one, and he gave me shot that in my knee that I needed. But yeah,
yeah.
we have here. This is your boyfriend, Keith. He been looking for you all the week. He says, "I mean, Raheem Hamilton." He says, "Keith Williams is back." Oh, Raheem,
I
you
am.
yeah.
miss he misses Keithy.
Hey, I was literally out all day Monday because I had my back ablation at 1:30, and then I was in recovery for 3 hours. I woke like you're kind of up, but you're not up. So like they kind of give you amnesia, and I didn't even I was up for part of it, and then I don't remember anything else after that. But so the back's doing good though. So uh,
Good.
I heard today, that Michaela announced her retirement.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
yet. Not yet. She
not
said
officially yet.
she's looking. She's acknowledging the possibility, but I don't think
Yeah,
she's actually fully signed off on it yet.
So
So
Tina tells
yeah.
her, she goes, "I wish my husband would take your advice." And I'm like, "Yeah, It's not that easy for me. I'm not. I say, I have good insurance, and I figure maybe this year or next year I'll retire. Now, I honestly can accept that. Because my journey has been fun, but it's time for me to help other people at this point in time. But at the end of the day, it's a great sport, but I'm not willing to be a Ronnie Coleman. As great as he is, I can't imagine being as great as he was and being in the condition that he is now. I'd fucking, excuse my language, I'd fucking go nuts. Being in a wheelchair, being bigger than life, and and the crazy thing about Ronnie when I say that is he's like I would do it all over again. Ain't no way. He has kids and all this stuff. I just coached my daughter's 10U basketball team last night. We coach softball. It's no way that I can't be the dad. My son plays college basketball. My other son plays pro baseball. It's no way that I can be hobbling around trying
Yeah.
to go to these events. No way.
See,
And you
It's
that's
have
what
a
nothing.
that goes
It's
back to what I
I
was
live for them now.
exactly.
I live for them now. It's not about me.
Yeah,
So the point where I know that it's like, okay, I can't do the things that I want to do, and it's hurting me and it's hurting my family. I know it's time for me to step back.
yeah,
So I mean, again, he accomplished great things. There will never be another Ronnie Coleman in life, but again, at the end of the day, if I was to ask myself the question, would I rather be in his situation then and now? No way, no.
yeah. So,
Because God put me on this earth for bigger purposes than myself, you know. And there's no way. I mean, I can't imagine mentally, what he goes through every day, looking at these videos, seeing how bigger than life he was to the world, not just to body, just the world, and to be where he's at now. I mean, fuck. I mean, I can't imagine how kind of depressing that would be. As much as you accomplish, it's like if you look at Kevin and Flex and Dorian and all those guys, they said the same thing. They pushed it, and the Flex ain't got a leg. Flex was so and had to put him in a coma. But a lot of these guys was like, it's no way that I would ever do that to myself because you know, if there's other things to live for. And Dorian Yates, I listen to him a lot, and I've seen him on horses. I've seen him doing different things. He goes, "There's a lot more to what we do than just competing in this sport," and that's what I have to. That's what I live by now. When my body says enough is enough, then I'll be done. And I know that's coming. I know that's coming here soon.
that's what we were talking about because, and the thing of it is, it's funny because men recognize it, I think, a little bit more than the women do.
Yeah.
Because the women, that's why when I got into it, my trainer, he used to work out with like Ronnie and all of them, Kelly Hitchcock. And he told me flat out, he said, listen, you're going to want a life outside of this. You get married, do whatever you want to do because eventually you're not going to be on stage.
Yeah.
You have to have something outside of bodybuilding. Eventually your body's going to tell you enough's enough.
Yeah.
And men, y'all tend to like go get married and do all that. But the women, there's so many women that are even pros. They have told me they regret not getting married. They regret not having kids. They regret not buying a home. And I'm looking going, what happened in that time of you doing shows to now that you decided not to step away from that to accomplish those things?
Well, and that's the thing. Like Sid Gilman, I think she's at a point, and she probably could have still keep winning. She could have still, like, she probably could have won 10 Olympians, if not more. But I think she understood. She accomplished her goal. She is still healthy. She wants kids. She wants a family, and so I think she walked away on her own recognizance. So did Chris Bumstead. I think he was like, I have a kid. There's other things to live for. So some people come to that actualization and realization that, hey, you know what? I accomplished what I needed to. I'm in a good financial place. It's a good time for me to walk away. And then there's others who, like Ronnie, I love Ronnie. I respect him. He's the best. He's the GOAT of bodybuilding.
Yes.
But again, at the end of the day, I don't think he had those people in his corner saying, trying
Hey,
to, trying to do this and trying to do that is just too much.
yeah.
And so, and I remember the last Olympia I seen Ronnie, he was coming around in a wheelchair, and we were at the Wings of Strength booth in Orlando, and I was just looking at him, and I'm like, man, this guy who we all looked at is bigger than life, and he's still bigger than life because he's still alive, he's still a human being, but to see him in such a fragile state, it was like, man, I just, I was on bed rest for almost 2 years after my car accident, and I know how I felt, so I can't imagine how he feels rolling around in that wheelchair, and maybe I'm being presumptuous, maybe I'm wrong, maybe he's in a good mental place, but I know who I am and I know how competitive I am. I'd be like, I did this to myself,
Yeah.
and when I realized, that it's a bad place for me. It's a bad place for my daughter, my wife, my children. I got to walk away and just be done.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about somebody who really kind of, I think for America that we broke their heart was Christopher Reeves, Superman.
Yeah.
To see him one day, this tall man, this hero, everybody, like I would say one of the greatest Supermen of all time. You put him up there, you got Christopher Reeves, you got George Reeves, you got Henry Cavill. Those I would say are the three best Supermen if you look at it. Because George was the first one with the TV show, and Christopher came along with the movies, and Henry was the last one that I think people really liked. It's hard to see your heroes. Like I'm looking at guys like Arnold and Stallone getting older now, and you look at guys like Ronnie Coleman, you look at all of this. Um, like some who are smart enough to walk away from the sport, like good example, Julie Carney. She left and she now has a daughter. Kim Zavetsky, she did go back and forth, and now she has her two kids, a boy that are growing strong, and then the others who just really, like I remember I was somewhere I read that Linda Murray wanted to have kids, but some stuff happened, and I think she had a. That's why she, after that last Olympia when she lost to the second time to Kim Zavetsky, she wanted to live her life and do that, have kids, but then that didn't happen. And then she one time was trying to be a wrestler, and then whatever that didn't work out, and then she came back, competed a couple more 2 years, and then she said, you know what, I did what I wanted to did three more Olympias, won two of them, and now she's doing stuff like the Wings of Strength, and also she's doing her shows, the Atlanta Pro, and she's doing a lot of stuff. But yeah, it's pretty. That's the thing about your life. You have to make those choices that you really gonna step back and really focus on who you want to be. You got here for a comment from my man, you know, Raheem Hamilton says, if Ronnie could get a do-over, I bet he wouldn't do it again.
He
To the
said he would
point,
though. That he
yeah,
said he
he
would.
would,
He
yeah,
said he would add even more weight. That's the crazy.
Yeah, he did
yeah,
stop.
Yeah, I'm like,
yeah,
what
baby.
the hell?
Like,
Yeah.
dude. But here's
Well,
another one comment.
he's
We
famous.
got one more. We got one more comment from Raheem for he says, don't forget Dean King. He was a great. I ain't like Dean King that much. I
Hey,
just
y'all,
really.
I hate to leave. I'm gonna have to leave because she just texted me, said, are you on your way to get your background?
That's all right.
Good talking to y'all, and
Good
next
talking to you.
time I'll
Good
be on
seeing you.
longer.
Yeah,
I hope to see
appreciate
you
it, Bev.
again.
Okay.
Appreciate
Bye
it. Thank you for coming
Yeah.
through. Bye bye. Folks, now it's just us hard legs now. So no kiki heels. Just us hard legs. So but yeah, going back to that, every athlete, and I've said this before. I remember the story. I told this the other day when I was talking to. And this is how it is. There was a social scientist who said like this. He did a test. He tested athletes, Olympic level athletes, and said, if you had a choice and we give you this pill and it can make you jump higher, go faster, run faster, you can win, medals and set records, would you take it? But here's the catch. If you take the pill, you'll lose 5 years of your life, meaning that at one point, boom, you're going to die in another 5 years. And most of them say yes because they want to make those goals. It's so important to make goals, but think about what's going to be your life after that. Like, I've seen fighters keep fighting till they're almost brain dead. And that thing is, it's like that's all they know. And then the smart ones say, you know what? I made my money. I did pretty good. Like, good example, Floyd Mayweather. He made his money, did pretty good. He does it every now and then. You might see him do some fighting tournaments or something like that, or just some charity stuff. But generally, most athletes, it's hard for them to walk away. They don't think about the future, like, and things like, if you need medical insurance, if you need health insurance, life insurance, things that most of us people who are out there in the real world, like when I had a job, my job, I had health insurance. My last job I worked at, when I had my heart attack at work, I thought it was a cold, but it was a heart attack. I went to my sister. She lives the next town over because it'd been like I would have to go another 60 some miles to go back home. But my sister lived like like another 20, 30 some miles in next to town over in Fayetteville. Went to her. I said I just had a little cold. I went to film where I left work. So she told me go to the hospital. So I went to around the corner, urgent care. They told me while I was there, they taking my blood, says, Ms. McCarthy, we found something in your blood. We can't treat you here, so we're going to send you to Cape Fear Valley, which is the biggest hospital next to UNC, especially in my area. And I was there for in a cardiac unit for about a week. They had me hooked up, me monitor to me, and then I went to see a specialist in UNC. And this is where I knew it was serious. The specialist was he was a British cat. He says, Miss MacArthur, your fraction rate's under 20%. So we must, have you commit surgery immediately. So it wasn't no more than a week later. I had my surgery, had this for a partner for the last 10 years. And it was a good thing that my insurance covered that. And even when I was out of work, a month later, I got a little check that's a couple $1,000 that helped with some bills and stuff I was behind. And then I went back to work and then I quit my job. And then my mom got sick to take care of her. But yeah, it's a test for anybody. It's that most important in life. Here we got a man, KL the Wanderer. We are last night chopping it up. My man,
Hey,
KL.
what's going on?
What up?
Hey, what's going on? He also dealt with the past with some medical issues. And that's especially for us Black people. Our genetics are very different compared to other minorities because we are higher chances for high blood pressure and cholesterol, even depending on what you eat. If you eat the right foods, it can lower it down, but sometimes it's just genetics.
A good quote that I heard listening to Travis Kelsey and Jason Kelsey last week, 58-minute podcast. And I don't really listen to a lot of podcasts, but at the end of the day, when it comes to our sport, and when I played in the NFL, I was making way more money than I do in bodybuilding. Let's put it that way, way more money. And Jason was talking to his brother about how, he was torn, because he was an Eagle. He had his brother was playing for the Chiefs. And at the end of the day, like Travis ended up saying, he goes, it's just football. It's just a game. And that's what people understand. It's just bodybuilding. And at the end of the day, taking it too serious and all the things that people were doing, like, I've seen people in Philly like burning like Kermit the Frog flags because Patrick Mahomes has a fucking, it's like we live in a society that's what the fuck we're doing now. Not one time would you see a Kansas City Chiefs do some shit with fans do some shit like that, no matter who they play. And I'm like, it's not that serious. But the whole moral of the story was, at the end of the day, it's just a game. I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars playing football for many years, but it's just a game.
His
And it's like bodybuilding. A lot of people will never see the fruits of their labor in this sport. So again, at the end of the day, for one, you have to invest in yourself. And I know me and George were the dialogue before, the show even came on, we're saying, well, not everybody has the insurance. But, I think at some point in time, talking to my buddy who's insurance, everybody has the opportunity to get insurance, and in the United States, you have to have it. Like they make sure that you have it because, you would get in trouble if you don't have health insurance because health.gov and all these different companies now that, people who low income, and a lot of these bodybuilders are not living very well. They're living paycheck to paycheck. They're living like everyday, they're living like everyday people because, you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. So at the end of the day, there are opportunities for them to get health insurance at some facet without having to do a background check or a screening check of like what's your health and all this other bullshit and all this other things. But I just don't think that they're taking advantage of it, and that's what you have to do. That's why we live in the great country that we live in where, everybody can get, I know people who have health insurance that's paying like 84 bucks a month, 30 something bucks a month, who have great benefits. But again, it's up to us as people to take advantage of those opportunities. And when you don't, like, I've seen Hella's where she was in Switzerland getting knee surgeries, and yet you want to sit there and put on this, GoFundMe. Here's the thing. You've made a lot of money in this sport compared to a lot of other people in this sport. So for you to not have health insurance and got your fucking hand out, fuck off. No offense at all. Fuck off. Seriously. And I'll tell her that. Fuck off. Because you've made a lot of money in this sport. As many years you competed in the sport, the world championships that you won, the vehicles that you won, the top finishes in the Olympia, and you're telling me you don't have fucking health insurance and you got your hand out? Fuck off. Seriously.
Well, brother,
I
brother,
know you do well as a trainer, so I don't give a shit what people say. When it comes to that, it's like, really, come on.
Well, brother, I'm passionate about it. I did post a GoFundMe link because I am a fan of hers. Maybe I'd
Here's the
say
thing, though. So you're telling me at the end of the day, she's placed in the top. How many Olympians has Helena done? How many has she done?
since at least about I would say 4 to 5.
4 to 5, and she's placed in the top 5 in all those. Correct?
No, not her first one. I don't think she was top 5. I think Jeremy, you might correct me. I think she was in top 5 in that first Olympia. That was I think it was 2004,
Not sure.
2003.
So
Yeah,
how many world championships she won? She won 2, right?
two,
You
two.
can't
She won
Google it.
2 world championships. That's 100 grand right there. Won 2 vehicles over probably 100 grand for those 2 vehicles. I know she sold one or whatever case may be. I know she coaches, and she has to make, pretty good money coaching because coaches like her ain't cheap. I know fucking Alina, we paid her the first year with Tina, we paid her 5 racks. 5 racks.
Damn.
For her not to place where she was placing with Melanie, which is way less than that. So at the end of the day, and I know she, I guess you would. I was just telling somebody this. I guess people call them schmoes or whatever. Schmoes sending the money or they're doing their pages and all this other shit. She has to be making decent money. So to go and put out a GoFundMe for me to sit here and sit here, that's like me sitting here saying, "Oh well, I'm retired from NFL." Come on now, come on, George. Let's be honest. It's like, come on, insurance that if I don't know what she claims as citizenship for one. I don't know, what she claims as citizenship, but because she was in Dubai for a minute, that ain't fucking cheap. Then now she's in Switzerland. I think her first surgery she was in Mexico, right? When she did her shoulder surgery. That shit's not cheap. So at the end of the day, it's like, where are you getting this money to travel abroad and all this other stuff for you to sit here and ask you or Jeremy or Kale to sit here and send you fucking money so that you can pay for your medical expenses? No offense, fuck off. Seriously, fuck off.
Well,
I'm gonna tell you that right
as
now.
you
And she may,
as
and
you
I can't
know,
tell her, but I tell her, I'm
yeah.
like, fucking kick rocks. I ain't giving you shit because
Well,
you've
as
done
you
well
as
in
you
this sport. You've done well in this sport. You got things going on that my wife doesn't, and we got, and due to the fruits of my labor, we have great insurance. But again, at the end of the day, come on now, let's come on.
as you know, big brother. I am the impure bodybuilder. I feel female bodybuilding. I feel compassion for my subjects. I even feel compassion for you because I know a while back I sent you something when the last time you went through something and just because my heart goes out to you anytime something happens.
Yeah, and I get that.
But
I understand that.
yeah, but the thing is, like, we understand, that it's hard for anybody. And she might have, like, I know she's been sponsored before Wing to Strength was sponsored her. She was sponsored by Glenn, Glenn Amazon Fitness Magazine. He sponsored her. She's been sponsored by Eunice at Bad Rap. But sometimes some things happen, and you know, maybe I did. It doesn't hurt to be a passion for somebody. It never hurts to help. But
Here's the thing, and I show compassion for people, but at the exact same time, I've lived in this sport with my wife and with you and with the guys on the show for years now since my wife's been a pro. And at the end of the day, what I've come to the realization I come to is no offense that a lot of these girls are just fucking lazy. They're just lazy. They don't do enough for themselves. And we've been talking about this since I've known you, George, about how can they make more money? How can they do this? How can they do that? Well, at the end of the day, my wife still runs our bar. She still works, she's upstairs sleeping now. She's exhausted. We got employees that come into our bar like, oh, I don't feel well. I'm like, huh, really? Well, Tina's been sick for fucking 2 weeks, and guess what? She's still at the bar. She's still doing her fucking job. Because in our society, people are just, and it's not even about it. Our society is just fucking lazy. They're just lazy. They don't know the definition of working hard at shit. And that's the problem. I see these people sitting on the corner when I cross my bridge with a sign. I go, well, here's the thing. McDonald's is hiring people right now at $17 an hour plus benefits. If your ass has the capability of writing that sign saying, oh, any spare change, you have the capability of taking your ass to McDonald's and filling out a goddamn application.
here's
It's
the
not
problem with
that hard.
McDonald's.
It's not always easy
Yeah, and plus,
to
if you
get
have
a
a family,
McDonald's job now with it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
If
keep
you
it
have a
real.
felony, if you have a felony, they're not going to hire you.
Well, I understand that, but come on. Now, here's the thing. I
McDonald's,
own a business. I own a business,
Yeah.
McDonald's.
and I got
Yeah.
lazy ass
Well,
employees.
I don't
I'm
know
just
about
owning
that.
it. It's been fucking terrible. I own a business. I'm an owner, and I understand. I got lazy. I got people who are just absolutely lazy, and it's and that's just the world that we live in. Let's call it what it is. There's a
Yeah.
lot of jobs out there. I see so many jobs. You can work. Here's the thing. I just talked to my buddy who's in loss prevention at Walmart. You know the guy when you walk in Walmart that greets you, how much money he makes? $15 an hour to say hello. $15. How hard is that job? And these are like like the guy who when I walk in, one door is a guy who has to be 3 bills plus, sitting his ass on the bench. He'll stand up every now and then, but he's making $15 an hour. So what I'm saying is that we live in a society that these handout bullshit and all this other stuff. There, and guess what? If I can get benefits, if I can make $15 an hour sitting on my ass or whatever, or just greeting somebody and saying hello and get benefits, I'm doing it because it helps me, it helps my family, it helps, it helps the world be better. And that's the problem. I'm not trying to diss Helena and I'm not trying to diss anybody at this point in time, but I'm sitting there saying, come on, you've done well enough for yourself in this world that if I can't fucking fly to Dubai. I can't go hang out in Dubai and work out. I'm in goddamn Kansas and I got money. I ain't in Switzerland getting surgery. I'm in the United States. I'm not in Mexico getting surgery. I'm in the United States. It may be cheaper over there. I don't know. The last time I looked at stem cell research to get done on my knees, there the guy was like, well, if you got 25 racks, I got 25 racks. I said, but is it guaranteed? Is it not guaranteed? Fuck no. Then I'm not giving you $25,000 of my money to fly me over, to put me up in a hotel to do stem cell research that's not guaranteed. Sorry. It's called them bad investment. So if you're able
It's
to do
research.
all these things, come on now. Come on, guys. Let's be honest. Jeremy, can you fly to Dubai right now?
No.
Can you fly to Switzerland right now?
Nope.
Can you go to Mexico right now?
Nope.
But she's over in all these different countries doing all this shit, training all these people, doing all this other stuff with your hand out. Come on, let's be honest. Let's call a spade a spade.
Well, let's be totally fair here. You say you're not dissing her, but at the same time you said fuck her. So
I
Well,
wouldn't
it's
mind.
it's a little hard to
you know,
synthesize those two.
I would say fuck that. I would say fuck her. I'd say fuck
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me
But
recant my statement. I would
yeah,
say fuck
okay.
that.
All
Yeah.
right.
We
Well,
can't. Yeah.
but it's just my take on it is just that, and I've had this. I know other people very much disagree with the whole gun GoFundMe or crowdfunding thing. And the way I see it is that people work very hard for their money, and they're free to do with their hard-earned money whatever they wish.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so if she decides to do that, and people decide to contribute, hey, more power to them.
Are
Yeah.
you sending her some money?
That's just the way. That's just. I don't
I'm
have the
not
money to
giving her
send
money.
her, but I have given.
I
I have,
right now.
but hold on, I have given her donations in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And right
have I
now.
have done so not through a GoFundMe, but I mean she had a PayPal account and such
Yeah.
like that. So
Yeah.
I mean if people want to help her financially, she's free to ask, free to give.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah,
the way it's
that's
that's the way.
And,
that's
and,
So
true.
I mean
That's
so she's free to put it up
makes
just like
sense.
people are free to help her.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Makes
I
sense.
know
You're right.
I know this is a controversial issue
Yeah.
because I've heard other people trash GoFundMe accounts for the same reason. And I mean, but I know people who not only do they have a business and they do OnlyFans and they have a GoFundMe. And the reason why they do that, they're maximizing all potential revenue streams,
Yep.
which
It's a
makes
hustle.
sense.
It's a hustle.
Which makes
And,
sense. So they
and,
work hard. They work hard, but at the same time, they still take advantage of that because they want to maximize all potential revenue streams. That's a smart thing to do.
yeah. And here,
So,
if you know my channel, I have a PayPal, I have a GoFundMe because I can't. The thing to get monetized with YouTube, you have to pay them to monetize you.
Yeah.
So, and you have to hope that you get some, commercial ads and stuff like that to add to it. But you have to pay them to get that. I can't afford
yeah,
to
Here,
pay
but
them.
then if you monetize, you're their bitch.
Here,
You're
here's
the,
Yeah.
you're their employee.
That's a good point. That's a good
Yeah.
They're gonna treat you like an employee.
here,
And if you
here's
don't
Yeah.
follow their rules to the letter, they'll
Yeah, they gonna
strike you until you're
demonetize you.
gone. They'll
Yeah.
strike you
Yeah.
until you're gone.
Yeah.
here's
Yup.
my thing,
So
guys. I've been on my own since I was 12. I've been homeless since I was 12. I've all the work I've done has been on my back.